You guys, it's Karen, and I wanted to come and give you an update on where I'm at with headaches, because there has been a few interesting updates, I suppose you could say, and I've some more information that I found out, some more possibilities, and I feel like I have a lot of hope just now. My headaches haven't been better. Well, they've been slightly better. I'm not sleeping every single day, but I would say I'm sleeping 8 times out of every 10, something like that. 80% of the time I need to sleep during the day. And the times when I'm not sleeping, I'm sort of battling through the headache. The first thing that happened is I finally got my appointment with neurology. I had an appointment with neurology for, I think it was 2 or 3 days after my dad died, and I just wasn't in the right space to be talking about it. I didn't really care, and actually the ironic thing was, in the 2 weeks after my dad died, my head wasn't as bad. I think probably because I wasn't sitting at the computer, you know. I was just walking around, and I suppose being healthy in that I was going out for long walks and not really doing very much else. I was relaxing, I suppose you could say. So I had cancelled that appointment and was just waiting for my rescheduled appointment. My rescheduled appointment was still another telephone call. They're not doing face-to-face appointments yet. So I was really anxious. One, because I don't enjoy telephone conversations at all, and I'm getting worse the older I get. I didn't enjoy the telephone conversations letting everybody know about Dad. I don't even phone for a pizza. It's just not my thing. I like meeting people face to face. I don't like doing Skype calls or anything like that. I rarely do them, but face to face is best for me. I don't know whether it's something to do with like reading body language or what the reasons are, but that's how I feel. And the other thing was, I had a feeling that the doctor was going to tell me to stop codeine, and that was scaring me, because codeine is the only thing that makes my head bearable a lot of the times if I'm really in pain. If it's just the sort of foggy brain that goes with the headache, then the codeine doesn't do anything. But I was just like, you know, if I've not got the codeine, then I haven't got a painkiller, because ibuprofen doesn't work for me because of my stomach. So I just didn't really have much hope about the neurology appointment, because I've had one before, and she just said, yes, you've got migraines, and if you feel a bit weird before that's what comes with migraines. She gave me triptans. The triptans didn't work, but I'd been discharged from there as if there was nothing else that could be done. So that's what I was kind of expecting this time. I was expecting to be told, you need to reduce the codeine. I've been told it's not good for headaches several times, and I've had several times where I've taken 2 weeks off of all paracetamol and codeine and whatnot. It's been absolutely hellish. I've had to take diazepam to get me through, and it isn't rebound headaches, you know, that has been established. Anyway, I had this appointment with this guy, and it was amazing. It was like I had finally found somebody that was not just listening to me, but he was astounded. You know, he was like, I just can't believe that you've been left just on all of these awful drugs all these years. They won't be helping your headache. So he did say what I thought, that I should cut down the codeine. And he said, I can't believe they wouldn't refer you to me earlier. But I said to him, they told me I had to go through this pathway of taking topiramate, taking blood pressure medication, there was all sorts of things that I had to do before they would refer me back to neurology. And he was just astounded at that. And so he was saying, I think there's lots we can do for you. And he said, the number one thing I want to do, because of me having Ehlers-Danlos, I assume, but he said, the number one thing I want to do is get a neck scan. He said, once we've confirmed that there's nothing wrong with your neck, we'll send you to the Botox clinic, so the Botox migraine clinic. And I'm so delighted, because he believes these are migraines, and he doesn't believe they are cervicogenic headaches. I'm not sure what I think. I'd love to hear from some of you. I know a lot of you watching have migraines. I have to say, this light that's coming in the window is not helping me very much at all, to be honest with you. I feel like putting this down. Do you mind? But the biggest thing for me, perhaps even more than the pain, because I haven't had the awful... I used to get the headaches so bad that they would last like a day or two. Now I almost permanently have a headache, and I notice more when I don't have pain, but the pain is less. So I used to have these headaches that for a whole day, I would just want to die. I'd be like, I'd rather die than have this pain. It was just so awful. It's been a couple of years since, or a year at least, since I've had one that bad, I think. I've come very close where it's been like, okay, this is getting very, very painful. And then I've had to take a tramadol as well, and that tends to help me. But they're not very happy to prescribe them. But what's a bigger problem for me is the foggy brain that has gone with these headaches in the last 3 years. So I've had headaches for 17 years, but the last 3 or 4 years, this sort of tiredness and foggy brain came on, whereby it gets to lunchtime and I can't do anything. I can't sit at a computer. Everything just hurts my eyes, and I just feel like I can't concentrate on anything. The only thing I can do is lie down. I lie down, I feel like I'm sort of resting my neck, if you like, and then I get up, sometimes half an hour, sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 hours, and then I either feel a hell of a lot worse or I feel a little bit better, and then I feel a lot better after I've had my evening meal. So I told all of this to the guy. He asked the things that made it worse. What makes it worse is sitting at the computer, driving, lifting heavy bags, being a passenger in a car. There's a lot of things that make it worse, which to me were typical cervicogenic headaches. But he said, no, these are not cervicogenic headaches. These are chronic classic migraines, or classic chronic migraines. And I said to him, but how come, I can push in the back of my neck and it shoots into my eye, the pain? And he said, well, let me tell you, everybody has a sore spot there. Although I've tried it on Kev and he can't feel it. And he said, there's no nerve that runs from there into your eye. So that's just unconnected. But he's adamant these are migraines, and I'm just not sure. Cervicogenic headaches for me made more sense because my neck hurts as well as my head, and things that hurt my neck, like driving and sitting at the computer, seemed to bring on a headache. And I said to him about the foggy brain, and he said that's again a typical kind of aura. He said that people think that aura is just seeing bright lights. It's not. He said some people get really hyper, some people get really lethargic. All of these things are aura. So he was a headache specialist and has been doing his, being in this field for 20 plus years, he was telling me. And so I think that he obviously knows what he's talking about, but I just find it really hard to swallow that it's a migraine versus cervicogenic headaches, because when I was diagnosed with migraines before, I felt that the ones I was having were migraines, but I feel like these are more cervicogenic headaches. I don't know. Maybe I've got both. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I've got both, because actually the lady that told me I had migraines said you have a couple of different type of headaches. So I was just delighted. I'm delighted that I'm going to get a neck scan. A bit scared of it because I've had a head scan before, and it's it's quite claustrophobic and you have to keep your head still, etc. But I'm really pleased that that's happening. I'm really pleased that there's this option of Botox. I don't know when it'll be. I don't know how long the waiting list is. That was 2 weeks ago I had my consultation, and I haven't heard anything since. I'm assuming I'll just get a letter through telling me when to go for my scan, and then hopefully after that a letter telling me when I can go to the Botox clinic. But I know for a lot there's a long waiting list for everything at the moment. But it just is giving me hope. It makes me feel like there's an end to this. But there's a second part to all this hope, if you like, and that is related to the menopause, because I've done a few videos on the menopause. Have I got it, have I not? Because I'd been having a couple of sort of hot flushes. I had that whole heavy bleeding, and there's a couple of other symptoms, like I've been running to the loo a lot more, but I already have an issue with my bladder, as you guys know, so I didn't really pay attention to it. But I actually listed down symptoms that have been happening recently, because the hot flushes started to get worse, and I'm not sleeping at night at all. So I listed down all these symptoms, and they're all classic menopause symptoms. So I spoke to my mum, like I said, I spoke to her yesterday and was asking her I was asking her before when her menopause was, and she can't really remember, but she thinks early 50s, but she can't remember whether that was like when it finished or whatever. But she had heavy periods, and constant heavy periods, which is what's going on with me now. I'll go 2 days and then it'll start again, and then I either have to take the tranexamic acid to stop it, or it stops but then it comes back again very quickly. So I had a blood test done, and I'll show you the blood test results in a separate video about menopause, but it basically showed me that I was on the cusp of being postmenopausal. So I found that so interesting, because like I said, 3 years ago is when my headaches got worse, and I got this foggy brain addition to the headaches daily. I can't believe no GP, and I've been seeing the GPs for 3 years, going in, crying, going, I cannot function. I had a grooming business. I had to shut it down because it was hurting my joints. And I know it was mostly my body joints, but it was also my neck from like bending over. I was getting these headaches. I just couldn't do it. you know, there's lots of things that I feel like I could be doing if I didn't have these daily headaches and this daily foggy brain. And not one has mentioned the menopause, and that could be why. And so I have kind of latched onto that and thought, this could be why I'm having these headaches. It could be nothing to do with migraine. And I know that this specialist has said, but I thought, what would be the harm in me taking HRT? Because I've looked into HRT, and again, that's a whole nother video that I'm happy to do, but I am comfortable that for me, the benefits would outweigh the risks with HRT. Let's say that. I've done full research. I already kind of knew about HRT because I had seen studies years ago. But what I want to do at this time, because I'm having all of these other symptoms, I'm not sleeping, I'm having these hot flushes, foggy brain, headaches, night sweats, what else? Running to the loo. You know, there's a whole host of things. I would like to take the HRT and see how many, if any, of these symptoms disappear. And I'm not saying that I don't have migraines. I'm sure I do, because I've had these for 17 years, but they've got worse in the last 3 years, and that could be because of the lack of estrogen. That could be that I don't need the Botox. It could be that the hormones will be enough to put me back to a place where I'm only having the migraines occasionally, whereas, you know, the foggy brain and the daily headaches go. It is a reach, I know, but I think it's worth discovering, and I think the way to discover that is to go on HRT, like I said, and see in a month or two how many of my symptoms, if any, have disappeared, and then I can put them down to menopause or not. Hopefully during that time I will be, you know, having a neck scan and finding out where I am on the waiting list for the Botox clinic. That direct sun has gone, so I've put the lighting back on. This video is just going to be a nightmare of lighting up and down. I apologise. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm really excited. I went to see the GP about getting the HRT last week, and she wouldn't give it to me. She was happy to give it to me once I got my womb biopsy results, and so I had to chase those, and I finally got the results yesterday. There is no womb cancer there. That's what the GP was concerned about with the bleeding. Nothing wrong at all, so she is happy to give it to me. So what I need to do is do an online consultation today to organise for her to leave me a prescription, and then hopefully I can get started on the HRT next week. So I'm excited. I'm so excited, because whenever I've had any kind of condition, whether it's my bladder or my knees or my elbow pain or whatever it is, oh, my joint pain in my hands is so bad lately, which again, I'd like to know, is that menopause or just my Ehlers-Danlos? I always feel okay if there's a plan. You know, if it's just the case of you've been left like, well, there's nothing you can do now, that's when I'm the most depressed, because then you're just left with the pain. Which I am slightly concerned with the fact that this guy has told me to stop the codeine but hasn't given me an alternative. So I've reduced it a little bit, but I'm not doing great on that, because it's like, well, what am I supposed to take instead? You know, you can't just say stop taking it, because I'm in pain here, you know. So yeah, but anyway, the fact that there are so many options now for my head, it's like, okay, they're going to check my neck, I can score that off. There may be something wrong with my neck that could be helped, you know, or if there's not, I could have the Botox and that could work, or this HRT could work. I've got a few options now, and I had no options. I just felt like I tried all of the medications, I tried all of the physio, I tried everything that everybody had suggested, and I was still living with headaches 80% of the time, and you know, just not feeling like I'm living life. Like, I want to exercise more. That's one of the things. I want to exercise more, but most of the things I would do would aggravate my head, or my head would be so bad I just wouldn't feel like doing exercise. And so I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm not sure where it's coming from yet, you know, but I can see that there is potential hope. So I thought I'd come and update you. I will, of course, let you know how the HRT is going for the headaches specifically. I don't know, I'll come back and do a video on the menopause in general, I think, but and the HRT, but I'll try and do a separate one listed headaches, because I know there's a couple of guys watching that have migraines, and so I want something that, you know, will be, I don't want you to miss it. You might not watch a menopause one because you might think, I'm not going to have a menopause, although apparently there is a male menopause. So yeah, thank you very much for being interested in this. I hope that you are all doing well, and that you have got some potential solutions as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you again soon.